Honestly, they're not that bad.
Welcome to a new episode of It's Not That Bad podcast
Yeah.
slash something different. We've done bonus episodes in the past. We like them fairly, a lot. Like not in love, but like.
Yeah. We're not
It
gonna,
just-
we're not gonna use the big L word.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
we'll acknowledge that there's something there, but it doesn't have to really be said. Anyways, the bonus episodes really help us get things off our chest that we wouldn't necessarily be able to get to
Yeah, like
with a
with
regular
the,
podcast.
like with the horror genre one we were able to look at.
Yeah. We will touch on subjects that we've did in the past, but looking at it maybe in a different light or expand it a little bit more.
Yeah.
So we're going to try to do this every week along with a regular episode. We might even do bonus episodes in a week depending on current events and what's happening in our personal lives and whatnot. But this is more of like a casual conversation about, I guess, really like the entertainment business in general.
Kind of whatever comes up type of thing. Whatever's on our mind for that day.
Yeah, so these episodes are really for us to kind of get into like the TV that we don't really get to talk about, or like the movies that we maybe like or don't really like that we don't want to do whole episodes on, or even go back to past movies and episodes and touch on subjects that we either skimmed or we did get into it, but there's more we wanted to add or kind of revisit. So this is kind of just is like a little conversation and stuff like that about anything really. Speaking of anything, I kind of came to the conclusion like how much I like rely or maybe I guess view YouTube as like an actual what do you call it, like a competitor to like
Cable and
cable and
satellite.
TV and all that stuff.
No, yeah, I completely see that too.
Yeah, it's weird because I think we grew up with it. We really did grow up with YouTube, like maybe not from the beginning, but like 2005, 2006 and stuff. And we kind of we grew up with it, but I don't think we really ever saw it more than just being like a internet site where you could watch videos. But now it's a place where I will legit turn on before I check like like Hulu or Netflix or even like
true.
recorded stuff I have on cable and whatnot. I think it's partially because you get to pick a lot of your favorite stuff you want to watch, but also it's just like like random shit you come across that you wouldn't necessarily go out of your way to watch, but it's right there, so you might as well watch it. And it's I don't know, it's weird to think about it, like because this morning I had gotten up super early, and I tried to go back to bed and I couldn't, and I was watching this one guy's basically like vlogs, like it's more of like him going out to the city doing like, oh, I'm gonna see if I could live off of $10 a day type of stuff.
Oh yeah.
And I was watching all of those all morning, and then I got super hungry. So I got up and I made myself a bagel. And then I was watching them again, and next thing you know, I was like, man, I'm really fucking tired. So I fell back asleep. But when I woke up, I checked all my shit again. And then what's the first thing I go on? YouTube. It's fine. It's just, it's something I never thought of myself as like a YouTube watcher, because now when people talk about YouTube, they talk about like the Jake Pauls of the world and stuff like that, and like the video game streamers and all that stuff. And I really don't like any of that stuff. I very rarely like any vlogs.
Yeah.
And when I do, it usually it's like a vlog about something. I really don't want to sit there and, oh, well, yeah, I did this today. It's so crazy. It's like, I don't really give a shit.
Yeah.
Unless it's like Henry Rollins or something. I'm not gonna fucking watch it. But yeah, like so I always kind of consider myself kind of away from that. But I mean, when you think about it, we've been constantly like nonstop watching Sick Animation for
That's
like
true.
what 10 years now.
Man, yes. Ever since Brian introduced it to us.
Yeah, over 10 years.
Jesus Christ.
And that shit that constantly stuck with us. Like, I mean, we still make jokes about him. We will like randomly just watch old episodes. There's the one time we were on tour in California on
When
our
we
way
came back
back
from San Diego.
and the only thing keeping us was playing Sick Animation through the radio, like loud as fuck.
Remember who was it? Gabe that woke up and he's all, "What are you guys listening to?"
Yeah. I think he was like like everyone was passed the fuck out. And I forgot what we were listening to, and he just like, I just hear him chuckle. He's like, what the fuck are you guys listening to?
But
that was the only thing that was literally the only thing that kept me up.
Well, if you guys have a chance, check out Sick Animation on YouTube.
Yeah, it's not for the faint of heart, but it is pretty funny. No, it's just, it's a weird thing to really think about. Like I genuinely go on YouTube to see like what new videos are being released by like people I like. It's kind of weird but also interesting. As much as I think like we're about it, I don't know how much I'm into the whole like, oh, YouTube TV is coming out now, and they had like YouTube Red and all that stuff.
I don't know about all that stuff.
Yeah, and I mean I get the idea. I get trying to build a company and stuff, but I feel like YouTube's kind of a special thing, and I feel like if you keep pushing it one way or another, it's just it might ruin it. But I don't know. It's hard to say. Like these fucking kids are on here giving these gamers like hundreds of millions of views and stuff. So who are two guys, have anything to say?
I guess.
It's just kind of interesting to really think about it. It's
it is kind of weird because like even if I were to go back just even a couple years, I probably would have been like, why am I watching YouTube so much? Like my past self, I would have been like, why are you watching YouTube so much? And I'd be like, what do you even watch on YouTube? Like, it's like, well, a lot of things.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's true because I think back in the day it was more of like there had to be something on YouTube you wanted to watch.
Yeah.
As opposed to now where you're just looking for something to watch. Like the Sick Animation stuff, we found it, constantly kept watching it, and so that's what we stuck with.
Yeah.
And it's funny because some people bring up all this shit from like 2009 or something, and they're like, oh, it's so funny. And I'm like, I've never seen any of these fucking videos, at all. Or even around 2006 or whatever. And it's like, yeah, I didn't watch, like, unless it was a video that someone told you to watch.
Yeah, you hardly ever went on to YouTube to look for it.
Yeah, it was like, why would I? That's, like if, like I would, look up like certain like band records or whatever. I mean, people still do it now, or live sets and stuff. And so that's what I went on there to look for.
Like music videos or.
Yeah, but like now, you could just find that shit like scrolling through stuff.
Yeah. Weird.
Like a couple of months ago, I randomly found a Fergie video, and I was like, well, she put out a record? Like, I didn't hear it. Because, I mean, I'm not too keen on, like, popular music.
Yeah.
But usually, I know, like, what's being played on the radio around a certain time. Not everything, but, I would think I would know Fergie. And I saw Kendall Jenner on there. So I watched it, and I was like, oh, this is weird. And the song got stuck in my head for, like, I'm not going to even say how long, just too long.
Well, to get off of that subject and to move on to another subject, did you watch the Halloween trailer?
Yeah, it was all right.
That was just all right?
Yeah. I think I was expecting more out of it. It kind of just seemed like they took Rob Zombie's part 2 or Rob Zombie's part 1 and were like, well, let's make this better.
I mean,
it
like, looks pretty good.
But that Halloween, the Rob Zombie first one, it was okay. Like, it was good.
Was fine. The second one sucked.
It's so weird to see like Blumhouse.
I know. When I saw that, I was like, weird.
Yeah.
I'm so used to like New Line Cinema. Well, I mean, not even New, because before that it wasn't even New Line Cinema. It was like, what was it? I don't even
Fox,
know.
maybe. I don't know.
Oh, I probably.
No, but just like in general, seeing Bloomhouse in front of movies, like real movies, it's like, oh,
Real
because yeah,
movies. Yeah,
remember
no,
like they
I
always
know
used
what you
to
mean.
be,
It's just crazy too.
yeah.
Yeah, like it's like they have an Oscar.
Well, because like the one dude who owns it was talking about that he prides himself on being able to make these movies for really cheap,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
which fine, but it showed back in the day. It really fucking
yeah.
showed. So you'd be surprised to find a movie that had Bloomhouse in front of it, and you're like, you know what, it wasn't that bad, because most of
Yes.
the time it kind of
It
was.
kind of was
And
because you could tell they were cheap.
Yeah, and so now it's like, oh, they're like a real company doing like real movies now.
It's so weird.
But the movie itself, I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna like it.
Yeah.
But I think going into it, I really, honestly didn't pay any attention to it. I was like, whatever. I know it's happening. That's all that really matters. So when I watched it, like, yeah, it just
Does
was
his
like,
mask look weird to you?
it's supposed to be so it's like aged.
No, I know, but does it look like it's pressed in or something, or like short? Like I don't know. It looked kind of weird to me.
I think I really don't care. I think as long as it's reminiscent of the old mask, it's fine, because you're supposed to imagine that the mask is old.
Yeah.
And if you see the real old mask too, it's like really fucked up. So
And then it's so weird too that it's like it it's a direct sequel to the first one, and it completely overrides like all of the history, like everything that they've ever established. So it creates like, what is it, 3 different timelines? No, 4. So there's 1, 2, and then that. Because it's the first 2, then the 4th, the 5th, and 6th are 1. Then the first 2, H2O and Resurrection. Then the first one and this one. Okay, so yeah, it's 3. Excluding
I don't know.
excluding the 3rd one.
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I guess. I don't
But
know.
I did watch the Suspiria trailer finally.
Yeah, it looks good, right?
That one looks pretty good. At first, I was watching. I was like, "Okay, this better impress me," because I really like Suspiria, the original film. And as it keeps going, I'm like, "Yeah, this looks really good."
Yeah, I think it's because they try to stick with that old style of like filmmaking.
Especially, and I've talked about this before, and like why I don't really like zooms. But zooms work when it's like, because it's to give you that unnatural feeling, because your eye can't zoom on something. So
like it follows.
yes,
Yeah.
because it's so unsettling to see like the camera pushing in on something.
Yeah.
That worked really well. Although, like what, like I don't have a problem with Tilda Swinton, but like does she like? I feel like she's always in things just to be like creepy. Is it just because she's looks like that? I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of Tilda Swinton, I guess.
I really don't care, I guess.
I saw her and then I was like, she's in it.
Maybe she'd be good in it.
Maybe.
I don't know. I really don't care. Right now, like the way I view trailers is I'll pretty much just watch one trailer once and that's it. Because I feel like trailers just want to give you the most so you can watch the movie. And I know like that's not all movies, you know, some movies really do try to limit
excited?
to limit like what you see, whatever, but it's very rarely. And so most of the time, like I'll see a trailer and I'll be like, oh, okay, well, that's all I need to watch. So then I'll just wait for the movie to come out if I even watch it. That's why I didn't watch the Infinity War trailer. I saw the first one they did, and then I watched it a few times, and then I was like, you know what, that's it. I can't. I'm just gonna wait till the movie comes out. When I saw this review after the movie, they were talking about how Okoye, that she made a joke about like a Starbucks or whatever, and the guy was like, oh, well, she's like, yeah, you had that joke, but they put it in the trailer, so it wasn't even that funny. And I was like, it's funny to me because I didn't see it in the trailer.
I guess that's true. I mean, it was funny still in the context of the movie.
Yeah, but but that's what I mean. Like, I think I got to that point where, especially when it's something that I'm like really dying to see, I want I want to wait for it as much as possible.
Yeah.
So I could just watch it. It looks good. I'm pretty sure it's not going to be bad. I'm almost positive.
At least from what I saw in this trailer, it looks good. It looks like it'll be at least, suspenseful. It's gonna be kind of like how in the original one. At least it's kind of like a mystery of like, oh, what's going on here, type of thing.
Yeah, I feel like that trailer got me more
Excited.
interested than the Halloween trailer.
Okay, yeah, that looked really good. I was like, I'm pleasantly surprised because a lot of trailers for remakes or like when they reboot or like they're adapting it, I'm just like,
yeah, I guess it makes sense though. I mean, we're in a world where everything gets rebooted and remade, and
you think that's almost over and done with?
I don't think so. Because even if it slows down now,
yeah,
like honestly, if we feel like it's all like said and done, the next thing you know, they're gonna be like, "Hey, let's remake the Harry Potter books."
You know what? I could see them doing that, but for television instead. I think because look at Lord of the Rings, it's going
like
to TV.
Five seasons already.
It's really expensive. Did you see?
Yeah.
I forgot. I saw the number and I was like, "Oh my god!" I forgot how much it was, but it was like one of those things where you're like, "You're spending that much on it."
I want to say it was like a couple $100 million.
Yeah, it was something like that, and I was like, "Well, I mean, at least it's gonna look good."
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna watch it at first. If I come across it, I guess I'll watch it.
Okay.
I do like Lord of the Rings. It's just I don't know if I want to go out of my way, especially as Amazon.
Yeah, it's Amazon.
Yeah, I usually tend not to go out of my way to watch a bunch of Amazon shit. So, so we'll see.
Because I feel like a lot of things are moving to TV now instead. I mean, because look at Game of Thrones, even though like neither of us like the TV show, but I mean, look at what they did with that. They turned it into like how many seasons is it now?
I think this is gonna be
The 8th season?
7.
Oh well,
I think the 7's the last one. I think.
okay. But yeah, like they're doing Watchmen as a TV series. They're doing Lord of the Rings. Westworld's a TV series. Like look
The
at
best show.
yeah,
Better than fucking
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
By a
That
long
boring ass
shot.
show.
Yeah.
See, people always say like, "Oh, Westworld's so boring," blah blah blah. But it's like I've seen Game of Thrones and that shit's boring. I can only name one time where I watched it and I was like, "This is badass," and that was I think it was either like the last episode of last season or the episode before that, and because they had dragons, and I was like, "Why don't they just fucking use the dragons all the time?" And my sister said she can't do that, so fuck out of here.
Whatever.
I've seen that shit multiple times because of my sister. She likes that. So I'll either come in when she's watching it or she'll put it on and I'll like half-ass watch it. But it's like nothing there. Like because I don't know what's going on, everything's boring anyways. And they don't give you anything exciting.
That's true.
With Westworld, at least, like even if you don't know what's going on, all of a sudden you see like all these people come in and rush, like they rush spoilers. Did you watch it yet?
Yes, I'm caught up.
Yeah, like this last one, like they were showing them like how badass like
That
Clementine
was
is and stuff
badass.
like that, and
The
Yeah.
season has it's consecutively, like every single episode has built upon everything we know, which is great because that's one complaint that people always had about Lost, even though Lost, if you sat and watched the whole series, you'd understand. But anyways, it consecutively built upon it, right? And it answers your questions too.
Yeah.
And it gives you more and more to love about it. Like the last episode was that the last one where they had the samurai fight?
Before that.
Well, that was before that. Dang. Man, oh, that was awesome. But then even in this one, when they break in and like they're all dressed. As soon as I saw the dead bodies and he's like, "Oh wait, that's the other team," and their suits start lining up, I was like, "Yes!" And they just come in and they just start killing everybody.
Yeah, see, it's badass. And the boring parts aren't necessarily boring. You just because you missed it. I think my thing is like, yeah, I know like I'm favoriting Westworld right now. Like honestly, I've seen like these episodes of Game of Thrones, and it's always been boring. And like I remember I was like 2 years ago or something. There was an episode where it was like this huge fight, right? That happened, and then that was it. Like there's nothing after that, and it was like just boring again. Like what the fuck? Westworld gives you shit. With Game of Thrones, it's a lot of just like, oh yeah, he was fucking his aunt. Cool. That's all right. Oh yeah, he raped this girl. Awesome. Game of Thrones or Westworld, it like actually deals with like, holy shit, this is sentient life. Is it sentient life? What is sentient life?
I mean, because like, is this part of Ford's game or is it not?
You're constantly trying to figure out like, so are they like alive? Like what is considered alive? Like what would you consider, life, or like, oh, are they? Is this something that they've reached yet? Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a bunch of questions that you're constantly thinking about. And even though now you're like, oh, so this is what's happening, you still don't know what's going to happen because you have so this is going to be second season. So you still have like 5 more seasons. I think they want to do. I think they want to do 6 or 7. Yeah. So you still have all that shit till you get to an end. You're thinking that, oh, it could end with them.
And even the preview for the next episode got me super excited because I was like, so they're going to talk about that one guy from the Ghost Nation? I was like, dang.
Yeah. And that's one thing that I really like too is like how you think they're giving you think like they kind of plant something that isn't really that important. But then it starts to come back later like, oh shit, that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
Like, hopefully we find out what the Ghost Nation is, what they're about, like what's supposed to happen, like all that stuff.
He was trying to get Thaddy Newton's character. Remember, he was like, we're going to the same place.
Yeah, we're all meeting at the same place, something like that. And then he didn't want to hurt the kid or her, but she was just erratic.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, I'm not gonna hurt you. She's like, oh my god, savages! Oh,
yeah,
they're so dark. And he's like, whoa, that's pretty racist coming from you. That stings a lot. What'd you say? Stings a lot? And he's like, that's my name. Stings a lot. I think Westworld's so fucking tight, and it's so funny too because I think the first season makes sense, but people were like, oh, it's gonna be the new Game of Thrones because there's like all this sex and like violence and stuff, and it's like, no, like this second season there's like none of that. Yeah. it's all about like trying to get the upper hand on one another, like that the scene on the last part where Dolores is like about to like cut what's her name's head off.
Tessa Thompson's character.
There was just like, damn, she's gonna do it, and then she starts getting like, she was all badass, but she's also scared.
Yeah.
And then just like that, it changed. I was like, oh, she's right there. Should have just done it. Yeah. So it's nothing like fucking Game of Thrones because it's a million times better.
Yeah.
We'll do a
Westworld
thing. I think it's one of the best TV shows I think to ever exist.
I think we'll do it once the season wraps up.
Yeah.
Because how many more episodes does it have?
If it's the same as last, then I think there's 3 more.
Okay.
Or 2 more. I don't know.
Just so then we have everything tied up for at least for what it gives us for the second season.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to rewatch the first season and the second season. Especially like, man, I didn't think I'd see Ford again. Like, I thought maybe they would mention him. Yeah. And they did, like, in the beginning, they kind of had him, like, as, like, a shadowy person. But it's like, oh, it's just, like, a flashback.
And what I liked, too, was that Bernard goes in the cradle. He comes out, and, like, Ford's with him, and he takes over him. What does that mean for consciousness, right?
Yeah, because
that's what Ford says, right? Isn't that...
Yeah, he was saying that he can only exist in there because the technology's not there yet. But then he's in, so like, is it just part of him?
Or is it programming that's in his brain or whatever? I don't know. It's crazy.
We just don't know, Dom. We just don't know. Oh, after all these years, like, watching a show like Westworld, it's just like, yeah, okay. This is like one of the best things I've ever seen. Ever. Like, fucking ever. I kind of wanted to talk about. I think we talked about it a little bit last time. Then I was thinking like, we can't help it. Is fan casting.
Fan casting.
Yeah, so we talked about it last time with what's his name playing Gomez, Oscar Isaac,
Oscar Isaac.
and that because that's what everyone wanted, whatever, blah blah blah. And but then when we talked about how people fan casted Lando,
Oh yeah,
with Donald Glover, and then people were like, "Oh well, I mean, it's like,
It's
okay,
like, but that's what you guys wanted.
I'm like, yeah, but that's not what I wanted.
Yeah, but in my head, he did a better job. It's like, fuck your head.
Yeah, but then I saw that they were making a Gears of War movie.
Okay.
And Gears of War, for those who know, is a game on Xbox. It's basically like a Halo Point 2 version. It's like you're dealing with aliens on a planet, whatever, blah, 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 right? It's just more gory and shit. I think he's supposed to be the main character, and if it is the main character, his name's Felix in it, is Dave Bautista. And when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, yeah, that's him.
Is it?
Yeah, because...
Well, Dave Bautista is a really good actor.
I'll show you pictures sometime. If you look at the main character in it, it's like they're supposed to be kind of ridiculous, kind of shaped humans.
Yeah.
Like, and the way he looks and the way he sounds. It's the I can't remember his name. You know the guy who does like Bender and stuff. His voice.
Yes.
He does the voice for the main character in Gears of War, and it's very like rah, 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 rah. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, yeah, like this is so fucking perfect. Like this is perfect casting. Then I was thinking like, but what if he's not? What if they do find someone? Like, am I gonna be upset? Because all I saw was Gears of. First, I saw his picture. That's all I saw. And then it says, Dave Bautista signs up for a Gears of War movie. And it for me, it just went like it was perfect. It was like, this is, yes, you couldn't get any more perfect. If you, like, maybe I'll even show you some gameplay, and you'll be like, you know what, I could see it. So now in my head, this is all I want. This is literally all I want. I fucking want Dave Bautista to play, I think his name's Marcus Phoenix or something.
Yeah.
I'm so, because I love those games, but I'm just so fucking stoked to see what happens, right? It's almost as if fate was like, hey, I know how you talk shit about fan casting, but now you're trying to fan cast.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring something to your acknowledgement. And I send you the video, and it's a video I found on YouTube. They were talking about the Solo movie, how horrible it was, and it was all because of Aaron Aldenreich's fault, and that they should have cast this other guy, right?
Yeah, I've seen that guy before because he's another actor.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And but he did play like a young Harrison Ford.
And I'll agree, he does a really good impression of Harrison Ford, and he looks like him.
But it's an impression.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, is what, so like he goes, so this guy is like, he looks like he's fucking 40 something years old. And he's like talking shit about a movie. I don't know. It was just like, man, even though movies aren't the greatest, like it doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. Like there's a lot of enjoyment you can get out of a movie. Movies are meant to be entertainment. You know, yes, they can be very artful and whatnot, but when you're down, you know, bare bones, it's for your entertainment. And some people just don't want to have fun at movies anymore, and
they just want to sit
ridiculous.
there and be like, oh, well, I have a review site. I reviewed movies. I like to review them.
And that's what that guy did. And it was just like, oh, I almost wanted to stop the video, but I wanted to see what he was talking about, right? What he does is he puts a video of the original movie and then the kid doing his take of it, and he syncs him up, right? And I'm just watching it, and I'm like, why? Watching the movie and not hating Solo, what's his name? Aaron Aldenreich did awesome. Like he did good. And when I was looking at pictures, like the more that I think about it, and the more that I enjoyed the movie, I was like, you know what? He totally falls into Han Solo. Like he is Han Solo.
Yeah.
You know, watching it, it's like that kid's not even that great of an actor. He's literally just doing an impression, and he's doing like a very eccentric impression. And I think the one thing that people always had with Harrison Ford, it's like, oh well, yeah, he was playing like Harrison Ford, whatever, blah blah blah. But you always say, well, Harrison Ford made the character fit him, right? And that's exactly what Aaron
Aldenreich did.
What's his name again?
Aaron Aldenreich.
Aldenreich. Aaron Aldenreich. Yeah, that's exactly what he did. Like, he made the character. Watching it, I don't think like, yeah, he's good, but he's not Han Solo. It's like, no, he is Han Solo. In the movie, he's fucking Han Solo.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what you say about him. It's like he did well enough to where I can sit there and be like, yeah, no, he's Han Solo. He's definitely Han Solo. And this kid is just some fucking kid who looks like a young Harrison Ford doing like a very eccentric Harrison Ford impression. And it's like, that's what you wanted. And I don't know, it's one of those things where it's like, it's so hard for me to not try to.
Isn't that the complete opposite of what you'd want from a Harrison Ford? Like, from like that character? Because the whole point of, like, as you were saying, is that Harrison Ford went out of his way to be like, this is my character, right? Yeah. So even when he came back years later to do Force Awakens, he was like, I'm going to keep the character that I want, the way I want it, and I'm going to do it as an old man, how I want to do it. Oh, yeah. And so for Aaron Aldenreich to come in and be like, okay, well, then I'm going to do it the way I do it.
Yeah.
And
still sell it, yeah. And still sell it like, okay, yeah, Han Solo, that's the Han Solo that you see in the movies, the original trilogy. And it's totally fine. I totally buy it. It's okay. But watching that guy talk this kid up like he wants to suck his dick.
He probably does.
And then watching him like gush over it, and then watching the actual video of him doing it.
You're going so far out of your way for nothing.
Yeah, it's like he's not a great actor. And you could say that what's his name? Aaron's not a great actor either. But he went out of his way to be like, hey, I have to do this. I have to make sure this is right, whatever. There was something in there where they're like, he could do it. And then, you know, we were like, because everyone's like, oh, he has an acting coach. Oh, acting coaches on there. But acting coaches on sets are normal. It's nothing new.
Yeah. Well, Harrison Ford had to come on set and like talk to him, and then it's like, okay, but so do other actors who played other roles. They've come on and they've been like, hey, I'll talk to you about it. It's not anything new. It's just because you're hearing it and you're trying to be like, well, see, this is why. Yeah. You're trying to make a point of like why it's not working. But it's like, you understand these movies nowadays, they're not made for you anymore. They're made for kids these days. The kids these days.
No. I grew up with Star Wars. I own Star Wars.
Oh, you own Star Wars. Not Disney, the giant mega corporation.
I own it. Me.
They should be making movies for me. Me.
Well, see, but that's what I'm trying to get at. It's almost like I hate having that idea of this person should play this role because they fit so well, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to come off as like these fucking losers doing the same thing, even though, you know, I'm more of, oh yeah, you know, Batista, he totally fits Marcus's role and stuff, and I could totally see he has the look, he has the voice, he has the body shape or whatever, blah blah blah. I know he can act, and they're on the, you know, sometimes they're on the other spectrum of like, oh well, this guy sucks. Like this is who should have played it, right? But I feel like we're still in the same lane. Talking of fan casting.
That's true.
And
well, did you see that one guy who posted he did a Photoshop of Andy Serkis as the Penguin? And at first I was like, Andy Serkis is the Penguin, and I was thinking about it, and I was looking at the picture, and I was like, you know what? That'd actually be pretty cool. But then it's the same thing. I was thinking about it, and I was like, yeah, but then I'd be kind of disappointed not to see Andy Serkis as the Penguin.
Yeah.
Because then you build it up in your head, and you're, like, picturing how he acts, and you're like, okay, I could really see that. And then we get someone, I don't know, like a Patton Oswalt to play the Penguin. And it's not the same. Yeah. Even though he does a great job at it, you're just like, yeah, but see, I wish I could have seen Andy Serkis as the Penguin.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, but I mean, I'm still happy with the result I got. I mean, it's not bad.
Yeah, unless it is bad.
Yeah.
Even if it's bad, it's like, well, who would have said that, you know, my fan pick would have been better?
Yeah.
Maybe, but I mean, Look at how many people. Look at how many people have like sucked the dick of.
John Travolta.
No, those are guys.
Oh.
How many men? No, I'm talking about everyone. Like everyone always talks about how an amazing actor is or whatever, right?
He's good.
And then you get him in this role, they're like, oh yeah, he's gonna be so perfect for it.
Yes. Oh my god.
And then it's like, oh
and it's just okay.
no. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
he's a good actor, but he just didn't fit. Like no matter what you said, he just
No.
didn't fit.
Yeah. And then that they're going ahead with his solo movie, and it's
Yeah,
like,
with another movie too. Like
and then another. There's gonna be 3. Did you know that?
yeah, so it's the Harley Quinn
Quinn Joker.
and her Joker.
His solo one with
Yeah.
Jared Leto, and then another one
That's
by
a different.
That one's
Joker.
Martin Scorsese. Yeah, that's Martin Scorsese.
Yeah, so stupid.
That's
so
stupid.
fucking stupid.
Because did you watch that Nerdist video
No.
about how they're like, is DC EU pushing towards just using their villains in their cinematic universe? And I was like, that'd be kind of stupid because it's like, I get it. Their villains are great, right? But like, then don't you have to make the villains sympathetic? Aren't you turning the characters more towards being like sympathetic characters instead of being like, oh, they're villains for a reason? Like they're the bad guys. They're supposed to lose.
So who's like a great DC villain that isn't the Joker? See, because when people say,
Lex Luthor.
are you sure though?
Je-
We'll see, like, when people say that and they're like, oh yeah, well look at Thanos, like, oh, well what other?
I think what they mean is like Batman villains because
Yeah.
it's usually the Joker, the Penguin,
Well,
Catwoman.
because they're like, oh well, other than Thanos, like what's another one? It's like Doctor Doom.
yeah,
Doctor Doom's a fucking badass.
Galactus.
Yeah, Galactus is. And the cool thing about Galactus too is like technically he's not a bad guy. He just wants to live.
Magneto.
He just wants to live.
Magneto's a really great villain.
Yeah. So it's weird, right? Like,
I mean,
it's almost like you just
Gorilla Grodd.
oh,
Maybe that's just me.
a jackass.
Captain Cold. Black Manta.
Oh my god. Fan casting, I feel like is getting out of hand, and I'm trying not to be a part of that.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to sound like these fucking stupid nerds who are like, oh yeah, yeah. I harassed what's her name again? The girl from
Kelly
Star
Marie
Wars.
Tran.
Yeah, I harassed her, and I'm a part of the reason. I'm a part of the Rebel Alliance that got her out of the.
That's ridiculous.
I saw a post where this guy literally called themselves the real Rebel Alliance, because they're tired of having
Tiny penises.
yeah, they have a safe word where when they type in tiny penises, it turns into forced diversity.
Oh, okay.
And there was this whole rant about it, and I'm just like, I was like, God, it must suck to be you. Like,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, I know there's people that live better lives than me and stuff, but I'm fine with like I'm chill. I have a good life. Like,
Yeah.
not the greatest, but I'm good.
Yeah.
But if I was any of those people, it's like, man, like I'd be calling suicide hotlines so much.
So I don't know why you would have to go. Why do you feel the need to like go on and say these things behind a screen and be like, well, no one's gonna know it's me anyways.
Yeah.
So I could just say whatever I want, even if it is anonymous. I would still feel bad about writing that.
They're fucking nerds. I don't know. Don't get me wrong. I get talking shit. Like I could talk shit.
Yeah.
But there's a difference between talking shit and
Harassing someone.
being a nerd online, being a troll a troll. Like talking shit and being a troll are completely different. Like when you talk shit, when you're talking mad shit to someone, you're talking shit to someone. You're not. Yeah. Oh, I don't want no more Asians in my Star Wars. Yeah, only white British guys.
Then you gotta wonder why.
It's because they want to see them naked.
Maybe.
Or they want to see old British guys naked.
Maybe. and then they want their women only as like slave Leias, where they're just wearing like gold bikinis and they're not talking.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't know. That fucking fandom is dumb. I understand like people are just that's not everyone. I get it. But it's so hard to believe that when it seems like everything being like I know people who love Star Wars and all stuff, but even like on my friends list, like there's people who are like, I hated The Last Jedi, it was so stupid, blah blah blah.
It's funny because you ask them why, and they don't give you a real answer. They just give you like some dumb roundabout where it's like, yeah, but see, like, why would they do this or why would they do that? It's like because they're people in space. They're still human. You understand that, right?
And I think that's kind of why I'm trying not to act the way that those people act. And don't get me wrong, I'm always gonna be like, oh man, that'd be so cool to see so and so in that role, or oh yeah, they'd be perfect in this role, whatever.
I mean, even look at when they announce like someone in a role, and you try and like, okay, with Last Jedi as an example, like Benicio del Toro. When they announced him, and everybody was like, "Oh yeah, he's gonna be so great. He's such a great actor. He's gonna be so badass. Like, I wonder who he is. Oh, his name's DJ. Like, oh, who is he? Like this and that, right?" And then you find out how he is in the movie, and he's like got a stutter, and he's like this kind of double cross, and they're like, "Oh wow, that's not what I thought." And it's like, but see, that's the problem is because you thought one way,
Yeah,
and so you built it up in your head as this, and so now when they don't give you that, you're like, well, that's not what I wanted.
I would understand if it was a complete 180 of something that was already like if they put out this last Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
And then they were like, actually the Force doesn't exist. It's a different type of magic. That's what the Force has been this whole time.
It's midi-chlorians.
Yeah. And
That's
then
something they really get
if
upset
something
with.
like that happened, it's like, what?
Yeah.
What? Like
see, that's something.
That's
to be
something
like,
that you're like
why?
you could get upset about. It's like,
And that was George Lucas that did that. So it's like, so where do you complain about like J.J. Abrams and Ryan Johnson, but like you understand
Kathleen Kennedy.
yeah. But then you understand that George Lucas went out of his way to be like, the Force isn't the Force; it's midi-chlorians. It's little microbes.
And that's why some people have it and some people don't.
Oh,
You
I forgot.
fucking weirdo.
I forgot we had George Lucas in the studio today.
Nerds being nerds. Fuck them. That's what I say. Fuck them. Just like, they say like all cops are bastards, and you're like, well, what about all those cops that are doing like nice things? Or like, no, all cops are bastards. I'm having that same mindset, but with nerds. It's all nerds are fucking stupid.
Yeah.
So fuck them.
Yeah.
Fuck all the fucking nerds.
Yeah. All of those nerds.
Yeah. But I think we'll end it right now. There's a lot that if we keep talking about Star Wars and the nerds that watch these or don't watch these movies, and we're gonna keep going on because, god damn it, it's a never-ending story. And thank you guys so much for listening.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, INTB_podcast. And be on the lookout for these extra episodes. And like I said, as long as our regular episodes are still coming on every Friday, before the weekend. So just if you have anything you want us to talk about too, hit us up. We're more than willing to hear people out. So
Yeah.
till then, guys, chill out, my bros.
Yeah. It's not that bad.
Yeah, bros, it's not that bad. Just chill out, bros.
Yeah, brah. Yeah, brah. Oh, brah.